Hey loves, welcome back to Day Spills Tea. I, of course, am the lovely Day. And last night we got the much awaited Put a Ring on It reunion. And I really can't wait to hear y'all thoughts. And I'm going to tell you, my initial thought was, that reunion was so whack. Until we got to Alexia and Darion. I think that OWN needs to take some cues from some of the other networks, though, about how they arrange their reunions. And we'll talk about that some more in just a moment. But first, I need you to hit the thumbs up button, show me some love. Drop down in the comments and let me know what you thought about the reunion. And absolutely let me know what you think about my opinions on the things that happened on the reunion. If you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and do that. Then jump on over to my I'm Lovely Day channel and subscribe to that as well, because it's free too. If you have already subscribed, thank you so much for watching. Let's go ahead and get into it. So, I say the reunion was really, really whack and really, really boring until we got to Alexia and Darion. The network spent so much time showing us clips from throughout the season. And I know the other networks do that too, but the other networks will give us 2 and 3 part seasons or 2 and 3 part episodes of the reunion. And with this one, we're only getting the 1 episode, and y'all spent so much of the time showing us stuff we already saw. Look, we already watched it once, then we came here on YouTube and talked about it, so we kind of watched it again in that way. And then now, instead of revealing new information, new tea, new details about the couples, about the daters, y'all just kept showing us stuff we already saw. Like, why did you do that? Anyways, OWN did post some additional clips on their YouTube channel. So, like, there was one clip of Chris, the first guy that Alexia dated, and his little thick beard. And so, you know, Alexia talked about how she thought he was kind of attractive and everything, but she didn't really open up to him because she just really wanted to focus on her and Darien. Anyway, so he was like, I demand another date. And so they said that they're going to go out on some additional dates. But again, we didn't even get to see that on the actual reunion. So the reunion starts out basically celebrating the amazing Dr. Nicole. I thought it was great that they started out giving her flowers and celebrating what she brings to the table. We don't need to really dwell on that. Like, we know that she's phenomenal. Honestly, she really, really is phenomenal. I learned a lot watching the show from her. I was reminded about things that my own therapist had given me in the past that I need to continue to apply in my own life and in my own relationship. So shout out to Dr. Nicole. We love you. Then we went on to Laronda and Sean. There was like nothing new revealed there. It was nice to see Sean kind of being a good sport, like able to talk about the getting sick and feeling so nervous and everything when Laronda went out on her dates. But we didn't really get much else that was new from them. I did think it was interesting, though, that when Derek came up on stage, Derek is one of the ones that she dated, one of the ones who I was rooting for, when he was on stage, and she talked about what it was she liked about Derek, and she mentioned that he was someone she could learn from. He was someone that could teach her things, and I was like, that's hot. I personally love a man who takes control. I love for my husband to teach me things. Like, that is the bee's knees. So I'm not rooting for Derek anymore, but I just was like, okay, Laronda, I don't know if you should say that. But anyway, so Egypt, the host, she asked if there wasn't like a Sean, like would Laronda have been interested in Derek? And she said that he would definitely have been on the roster, or he would probably have been on the roster. And Sean made a face, but he didn't stick with it. He moved right along. And I just feel like he's grown so much in this process. And I wish them the best. I think they can be very, very happy together in the future. So then on to Jessica and Eric. There really wasn't anything new revealed here either. Jessica mentioned that she didn't really feel like they respected her on their dates. She felt like Leilani did way too much touching. I would be inclined to agree. But Eric was like, he also didn't like that Jessica was the one who initiated fine ass Clarence taking off his shirt and her rubbing his abs. Like, I ain't gonna never let that scene go, because she was wrong for that. But anyway, but it seems like they have kind of moved past those things, and they too understand that they are still works in progress. So at the end of the reunion, we learned that neither Laronda and Sean nor Eric and Jessica have actually set dates for their weddings, which is fine because they're still still working on themselves. And Eric and Jessica are working on building themselves a new home in Orlando. So that's what's up. That's wonderful. Congrats to all 4 of you. Okay. So then we get Alexia and Darien. I got to pull out my notes. That man, I want to say no disrespect, because normally I would try not to be disrespectful, but I realize that's not going to be worth very much in this situation because he's a whole clown. And there's not a respectful way to tell somebody that they're a clown. I'm not going to claim that he's a narcissist, or I'm not going to claim that I know any type of psychoanalysis or whatever, because I don't have that type of skill or those types of degrees. But what I can say is he a whole lying, bald-headed lie clown. He just... Bruh, like he kept contradicting himself. And then when Alexia or Egypt or even Kai would say things that kind of put him in hot water, he would just revert to, you're lying, you lied to that lady. And his face is always, you lying. Yes, it was once that day and then a bunch of other days and you lied. Oh my God. I don't know how anybody could deal with him. Kai in another interview, and we're going to talk about the Little Black Book interview later. I'll probably make a separate video. Kai in an interview was saying that he was so charismatic and charming and all of that. And I agree at first impression. But after a few minutes with this man and a few conversations with this man, I don't see how anybody could see anything other than a lying clown. Like, he is just really embarrassing the way he behaved. Like, I remember like the first episode, I was saying that I thought he was cool. I thought he was in it to win it and all of that. And then I was like, this man is a fool. Anyways, okay, let me get into my notes. So Darien claims that he did offer up a ring to Lex, but not because he wanted to, and he really didn't want to, because he was always doing things to fix things for her, but none of his needs were being met. So Lex is like, needs like what? And he's like, well, none of them. So she's like, okay, needs like what? And it kills me when grown folks can't articulate what it is that they need. And this is the same thing that I was saying with Tisha on Love and Marriage Huntsville. You need to be able to spell out what it is that you want and what it is that you need. Anyways, I think in his case, it was just he didn't really have anything. So he digresses and starts talking about, what did he say? Oh, he digresses and starts talking about how Lex is lying, saying that he wasn't going to tell her that he slept with Kai and he was going to tell her. Bruh, like, you ain't been on the stage but 2 minutes and you lying already. Like, that's a huge lie. You were not going to tell that girl until you had to tell them. He said something like, if we had got married and, you know, I was going to tell her, okay, so you were going to let her marry you first and then tell her that BS? You wasn't going to tell her at all, sir. So Egypt, who I think did a great job hosting, she came back and asked him to specify what it is that you're claiming you didn't get. And he talking about the sex. I didn't get good sex. I can't stand him. And Lex is like, he did not get good sex. He didn't get no sex because I was suspicious that he was cheating. And good on you. Don't be putting yourself at risk, and no shade to Kai, because we don't know who else he might have been sleeping with. But I don't blame her. You don't want to put your own health and your own life at risk sleeping with someone who you don't trust and who you think might be out here in these streets. So she's like, I wasn't giving you no sex at all. But he didn't articulate any other needs that he had in the relationship. There was nothing else that he really could have been complaining about. Ugh. So Lex says that he told Dr. Nicole he wanted to get engaged and that he had a ring. He called all the production, told them he wanted to get engaged, he had a ring, and he was trying to propose and all of this. And he says facts. But apparently he told Kai he never bought a ring. Apparently he's been going around saying that he was never planning to get married. And he actually even said it on the review, talking about, but I never saw marriage for us. He's so full of it. Anyway, so Lex asks, and Egypt, they're asking him, how many dates did they go on before he was intimate with Kai? And no, they asked him how many times had he slept with Kai. And Alexia is like, you told me one, but I'm hearing that it was more than once. And he kept talking about, so it's one, but not that day. That day it was, what does this mean? And so Alexia is like trying to get him to come clean and say, was it once or was it more than once? And like what he's saying makes no sense. And then he just reverts to, you lying. What is she lying about? Like, you the one can't keep your story straight. So they ask him after how many dates was he intimate with Kai? And he says the third date. Mighty funny, previously you said after the fourth date. I mean, like, you just, y'all are so full of it, you and her. Sorry. This is a whole entire mess. So he starts saying, yes, I was going to marry her, or yes, I wanted to marry her. Yes, I had a ring. And so Egypt is like, okay, but you all are not together anymore. And you will not be back together. And Lex is like, hell no. And he's going to say, first of all, it's my choice. Bro, we watched her dump you on national TV. So Alexia is like, how is it your choice? Like, I dumped you. I left you. And he starts talking about, after she said I couldn't get back, then I moved on. Bruh, that means that it's not your choice. That means that she left you, okay? Like, how do you not understand this? Anyways, he starts talking about she lying, all the lies, millions and millions of lies. But he's yet to point out what it is that she's lying about with his crazy self. So then he starts saying, what did he say? Dr. Nicole exposed her ugly true self. And Lexia bust out laughing. I was laughing right along with her. Like, this is crazy. Like, how did he hide this version of himself over the course of those 14 years? Or was he not hiding it and she simply couldn't see it because she was so in love? And, you know, she has reminded us several times that she was 19, okay, when they started this thing. So he was pretty much what she knew as far as being in relationships, you know, goes. I don't know how anybody could be attracted to him at this point. My God. So Kai comes out, and I thought, I'm not tearing down a black woman, so don't y'all say that mess. But I thought that Alexia's taste in her outfit for the reunion and Kai's taste in her outfit for the reunion really painted like a real clear distinction between the two of them and their roles in this threesome relationship. Do with that as you please. Anyway, so Kai comes out and they pretty much immediately ask her, you know, what she thought about like why she would be with him knowing that he had chosen Alexia. And she's like, well, I didn't know anything about the engagement or whatever. Okay, you might not have known about the engagement because he's telling you he didn't buy a ring, but you know that the whole reason you put him on blast for sleeping with you was because he wasn't choosing you. So you knew you were the fallback, as Egypt put it. You knew you were the fallback. You were the consolation prize. And that's no shade. That's what it is. And if you fail to recognize that and you refuse to recognize that, then you won't learn and you won't grow and you'll be somebody else's consolation prize again in the future. So wake up. Like, don't do this same thing because you just refuse to be bested. You refuse to admit that you got played. I know you were saying you're not going to make a fool out of me. He did. He did. He really, really did. He even did it on the reunion. Okay? Anyways, so they asked Kai, after how many dates did she sleep with Darien? And she can't answer for herself because she needs to confirm what answer Darien gave so that they're on the same page, which was super, super childish. So he said, I told him 3. So she's like, oh yeah, it's 3. Okay, whatever. So after 3 days, which means that if it was after the third date, if I remember correctly, is the one where he initially told her that he's in love with Lex. And she even repeated it in her confessional and was like, I think he's in love with Lex or whatever. And she's like, you keep trying to hold on to a relationship that's not there. Remember that when she was selling herself and she stood up talking about something, does this look like the help and all of that and everything? This means that she would have given it up to him that night. Where's the self-worth, Mom? Like, that don't even make any sense. that don't even make any sense to me. Anyways, stop trying to play the tough girl. Stop trying to say, you're not going to make a fool out of me, because he did. And he continues to do so. And based on what I saw in the Little Black Book video, he was just doing it again recently. So, like, accept that you didn't win anything. You didn't best anyone. You weren't first. You were the consolation prize. You were the rebound. You were the fallback. So Egypt kind of tries to help her spell that out and make sure that she understands what that means. And so Egypt's like, how does that make you feel? And she's like, well, it makes me feel the way, but I don't feel like I did anything wrong. First of all, nobody was even asking if you did anything wrong. But then Alexia says, so you don't feel like sleeping with someone who was in a relationship, sleeping with my man was wrong? And here come bald-headed lie again, talking about I wasn't your man. Bro, well, why are we here? Why are we here then if you weren't her man? Like, you are such a pathological liar when it's just a reflex to lie. When something is said that's so blatantly, obviously true, and you just lie. I wasn't your man. Fool. Seriously. I've never seen anything like this. Like, him and Martell Holt are like, y'all a whole new breed, I swear. So Alexia is like, you know what? Whatever it is, all of that being said, thank you, Kai, for being the trash woman and taking out my trash. And Darien talking about, you was the trash. You was the trash. You a liar. You a liar. I'm sorry. I could not with this man. He is such a joke. He is a full-on clown. So Alexia and Kai are kind of going back and forth. They're having words. You know, Kai is all mad at Alexia because apparently Alexia called her thirsty and all of that. But really, Kai, what would you expect? Like, honestly, like, would you really hold that against her? I probably wouldn't. Like, I don't know. I mean, I would kind of expect it. So Kai decides that she's finished with this nonsense and she walks off stage. Darien decides to follow her, and the way he is acting is just hilarious. Like, I don't understand him. The grabbing on Kai and she's pulling away and leave me alone. And did you tell her, what is this? Am I a rebound? And all of this and all of that. But then you still say with him, so whatever. Anyway, so when they come back from break, they're behind closed doors and you hear Kai saying, was I the rebound, Darien? Tell me the truth. You know, are you with me to get back at Alexia? And I'm sitting at home like, yes! I know all of y'all was probably at home like, girl, yes! It's so blatantly clear and you just keep choosing not to accept the facts. And it makes me so scared for you that you're going to continue to make the same mistakes with men and let them play you because you swear you're unplayable. Anytime your heart gets involved, it's possible that somebody can play you. Honestly, it is. It really is. And so while Darien and Kai are off stage or whatever, Egypt is telling Lex, so she heard that. She heard the lies. So now Kai knows that he's a liar. And what we realize is that even if Kai hears the lies, she doesn't accept any of the lies except for the ones that suit her. So she will accept that Darien lies about things, but then when he says things like negatively about Lex, she believes that he's telling the truth then, which I find to be really, really spectacular and kind of sad. Oh, anyways. So after that, pretty much they bring the whole rest of the cast back and they sit down and talk. And they're just, again, you know, Dr. Nicole is kind of giving them some additional words of wisdom. And that was pretty much it. I really don't have much comments about anything else. It's just that Darien just lies. He's a whole lie. And then, you know, Kai revealed a bunch of new details about their relationship. And so I'm as soon as I finish this one, I'm gonna jump into doing basically a summary of Kojo's interview with Kai on Little Black Book. I think the channel is Little Black Book, and he goes by like Little Black Book number 91. Anyways, I will link his video in this one and in the next video that I do, so you all can check that out and let me know your thoughts on that too. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.